Thank you. Our next question will come from Kenny Graves, WATP Radio.
This question is for, of course, Hallie and for David, in that if elected, what do you intend to change about the Baldwin County District Attorney's Office during your term? And then Mrs. Newcomb, I'd like to hear, if reelected, are there changes or updates needed to the office?
Mr. Green, we'll start with you.
I think I want to fundamentally change the perspective that people have about the office. It's a very important job. It represents the core security. It's the extension of the law enforcement in our community. I've been told by state troopers we have a conservative law enforcement. We don't believe that that continuum is obtained through the district attorney's office. I would like to restore the relationships and trust with the municipal and other law enforcement agencies. I want to build an office of experienced prosecutors and build a team. My experience in business is in times of total chaos, absolute disaster, major devastating events, I build teams capable of responding to hurricanes and ice storms. I want to build a team within the district attorney's office capable of responding to 4.5 million visitors a year, 3 courtrooms, a very vast geographical area, and I want to send the message across the Gulf Coast, if this is the model of the place to retire, to raise your children, and to start a business, this is also a model of the criminal justice system. So I believe it truly is a paradigm shift about what we're willing to accept as our district attorney's office. And I think I want to do that through a positive approach and a positive working relationship with law enforcement. I don't think that I differ from the other candidates on this podium in that we all realize that the budget is limited and efficiency are the issues. I think the decision is, who do you want to pick to go about doing it? What type of administration do you want to have? What type of leadership are you looking for? And I think I possess the ability to be the best leader.
Thank you, Mr. Green. Ms. Dixon, your response?
I'm going to have to be redundant again because I think I've said this already. And I've said it over and over about getting training and retaining experienced committed prosecutors. That is one thing that I will change. Those that are there, that are committed and dedicated, I will get trained. And I will recruit from June through January, June 1st, 2010, if I'm elected at the primary. Then November, of course, is the general election. I will work from June through January when you take office to go out and look for and recruit some key prosecutors. I will create 2 specialized prosecution teams. I will create a special victims unit, which will deal with child abuse and domestic violence. Those cases take a unique individual and a unique set of training courses. And I will create a homicide team. That team will be full of prosecutors who can stomach the work, who are committed to it, who are willing to work those late hours, and who can take the burden of those type of time-consuming cases off of your regular dockets and not clog them quite so much. I will do what I said before, which is I will put into place a process by which we identify those cases that need to be resolved without a trial, that don't need jail time. We will identify them within 60 to 90 days of arrest. We will not waste law enforcement's time nor our time indicting cases only to settle them 2 years later for probation. That's a lot of wasted resources. Instead, we'll identify them 60 to 90 days. We'll get them in front of a court. We'll resolve them. We will then focus our efforts on those violent offenders, child offenders, repeat offenders. We will get them off our streets. We will get them out of our jails where we have to pay for them, and we will get them in prison where they belong.
Thank you, Ms. Dixon. Ms. Newcomb, your response.
Again, to be redundant, you have an excellent district attorney's office that is already delivering every service that you have just heard every other candidate mention. We already have, and when I became district attorney, appointed a special prosecutor that reactivated the multidisciplinary team that focuses on child victims, not only of child sex abuse, but child victims in any case. You already have a unit, a special victim service officer and a special attorney that deals primarily and solely, actually, with violent crimes. The normal docket attorneys do not focus on those. He and I handle those cases. You have experienced, dedicated docket attorneys who have devoted their life to prosecution. Quite frankly, one of the mistakes I feel like I made when I began was to bring in people who did not have a history of prosecution, a dedication of prosecution, that were looking for a government job, not looking to be a public servant, and have determined that bringing people in and keeping them focused on the processes and the management that I've put in place since I've been in the district attorney's office has resulted in a more efficient process and prosecution of cases. You already have programs that bring cases before the judges within 60 or 90 days. And if those cases can be resolved and the defense attorneys are willing to resolve them and the defendants are willing to resolve them, those cases are resolved. But again, I am tough on crime. I'm not a glad hander. I don't make false promises. I deliver. And violent criminals in Baldwin County and drug dealers are going to go to jail.
Thank you, Ms. Newcomb.